Hey everybody, welcome back to Gideon Stuff. Today I have a knife review that's long overdue. We're going to be talking about the CRKT Squid. This is probably one of CRKT's most popular models, especially among kind of the enthusiast crowd. A lot of people love this knife. This is designed by Lucas Burnley. You can see there it is a Burnley design. And yeah, just a very popular knife. It's been reviewed a bunch, and normally if I'm taking a look at a knife that's already been reviewed to death, such as a Civivi Elementum or something, I will do a my 2 cents video instead of a full review, but we're going to go ahead and do a full review on this knife. Why? 2 reasons. Reason number 1, this is a Blade HQ exclusive version of the Squid with D2 and micarta. And this, I'm pretty sure it's just anodized steel, but, copper looking backspacer. So, it's a little bit different. I figure it warrants a review separate from the normal Squid. But secondly, because this year CRKT is coming out with the Squid XM, which is a larger version of the Squid. And I'm very interested in that knife. I really want to get my hands on one. And I figured I wanted a review of the regular Squid up on the channel just as an extra resource, I guess. I don't know. This is my channel. I don't have to explain why I do what I do. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into this review. Where is my ruler? I should have located that before I sat down. There it is. Alrighty. We have a blade coming in just under 2.5 inches. So that's really good. Going to be very nice and legal for people. There's centimeters for centimeter people. I don't have a whole lot of viewers outside of the US and Canada, but anyways, there we go. Now let's do our comparisons. Let's grab our rats, as always. Yeah, this is a small knife. This is definitely what I would consider to be a small knife, best suited for kind of backup or fifth pocket carry. Let's grab our Civivis. There's the Elementum, and you know what? Instead of the Praxis, actually, since that didn't really make sense to me, here's the Sencut Scepter. Those are a little more, I think that's a little bit better reference. So no Praxis today. Let's pull out these ones just because. We're going to try to hurry this up. There you go. It's a small knife. And let's compare against some other CRKTs. Here is the CEO. I hate this knife. I don't know why I still have it, but there it is. And here is the Tuna. Also designed by Lucas Burnley. And I really, really love this knife. So there we go. These two make a great pair. What are we looking at in terms of materials? For the standard version of the Squid, it's an all stainless steel handle. So front side and lock side, stainless steel with an 8CR blade. This Blade HQ, I don't know why I said it like that. That was weird. I coughed in the middle of it. This Blade HQ exclusive version has a blackwash D2 blade, this really nice green micarta, and it's a steel frame lock. I have in the past owned a couple of different Squids, some of the smaller, or some of the budget ones, the all steel ones, and I got rid of them, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. Before we go to the cutting footage, I want to say I took an behind the edge measurement for this guy, and it averaged out to about 17 thousandths, which is honestly a little bit slicier than I thought it was. It's a hollow grind. We're not starting off with super thick blade stock, but definitely a little bit better than I was expecting. I thought this would come in more like 20 thousandths behind the edge, but nope, 17. So, without further ado, let's go over to the cutting footage. It's pretty fun. So, CRKT is releasing the Squid XM this year, and that's not a radio channel, that's a knife. And I want to get it and review it, but I realized, wait a second, I've never really talked about the original Squid on my channel, even though I have one, and I've owned a couple. So, you know what, we're going to do a little bit of a review on it. This is the Blade HQ exclusive version. Probably already said that in the part of the video you saw before this, but this is the first part of the video I'm filming, so whatever. How's the action? This is running on phosphor bronze washers, and it can be snappy if you get the hang of it. It took me a little, it's such a small knife. Sometimes you're going to fail a deployment, but once you know what you're doing, you can make it come. Once you know what you're doing, you can make it come every time. Life lessons, kids. Once you know what you're doing, you can make it deploy every time. Thank goodness I'm not monetized. Okay, now that we're done fingering our knife. Family friendly. Let's talk about, how are the ergos? It's a very simply shaped knife. It fits in your hand pretty well. It's not like particularly ergonomic or comfortable, but it's like not offensive for a knife this big. It's pretty much what you'd expect. So, yay. How does it carry? Again, small knife. Whoa. There we go. I mostly carry this as a 5th pocket knife, although the 5th pocket on these jeans is kind of small, but there you go. The clip can be a little bit grabby, but you know what? All things considered, it's not too bad. Okay, now let's cut some stuff. We're not going to cut that big piece of cardboard yet. D2 steel on this version. I don't have a behind the edge measurement right now. We'll get one of those later. Definitely a robust little guy. Let's tilt down here more. This knife, to me, has always been a much better utility cutter than anything else. I say as I don't. My jokes from earlier threw off the entire vibe of this video, guys. Okay, let's do a pull through. Pretty nice. Let's do some pushes. Woo! Woo! Yeah, these short, stubby little blades, they really excel in these tests. You get a lot of leverage behind them. So, there we go. And let's do our pool noodle test. Even though the blade is shorter than the circumference of the pool noodle, it actually felt really, really nice going through there. I think that's because the blade stock's pretty thin, but that actually felt a lot better than I was expecting it to. I was expecting it to catch up, honestly, but it didn't. So, you know what? I'm happy with that. Let's go ahead and get back to the table. All right, let's get into the pros and cons of the CRKT Squid. First pro is there are a bunch of different versions of this knife. Not even just counting the Blade HQ exclusive versions, which there are a multitude of, but there's just, even just kind of the regular production versions of the Squid, there's a whole bunch. So that's really, really cool. Next thing, this is a very legal knife. As you saw earlier, blade coming in under 2.5 inches. That's going to be great news for a lot of people who are living in some dumb jurisdictions. Next, the blade definitely does perform pretty well for, certain tasks that you would use this for. You can see here that the tip is not particularly sharp, and actually mine probably has some damage. I've had this knife for over a year. It does need a sharpening. But it's a fine blade for most EDC tasks, most basic cutting tasks. This can do it, so that's really, really cool. Next, because it's so small, this is a knife that's easy to carry. It's pretty lightweight, folds up in a nice little bean shape. You can, stash this away in any pocket you desire. Yeah, pretty good. The clip works fine. It's not the best clip, but it's not terrible. I think it's a good clip, so there we go. It is a frame lock, so that's going to be kind of nice for the, I don't know, I guess the frame lock durability factor. I'm a big fan of budget frame locks, actually. There's not very many out there. Most of them are made by CRKT or Kershaw, but I like budget frame locks. They're cool. Next, you can flick this knife. This one is on phosphor bronze washers. I believe the original squid that I had, I believe that all the squids I had before this one were on Teflon, but it's been so long I can't remember. I had a squid before I was even really into knives. I got one when I was a teenager. They've been around forever. But yes. So yeah, the action, as you'll remember from the cutting footage, if you know how to do it, it'll come. You can also slow roll it. You can reverse flick it if you're really good with your fingers. But yeah, slow roll works well. The jumping up here is fairly nice. It's not like super grippy, but it's more like kind of that indexing texturing where it, lets you know where to put your thumb. You can also, of course, just choke up on the back of the blade like that. The thumb studs are really nice, actually. They're nice and big and round and stuff. These are good thumb studs. I would not mind seeing these thumb studs on a bunch of different knives. I like them quite a bit, actually. This particular version, I think, looks really, really cool. I love the way the green and this coppery color go together. The green micarta is very nice. I like that a whole lot. Access to the lock bar is better than you would expect on these. You can actually get in there fairly easily. I mean, again, it's a small knife, but it works. And yeah, I think that's pretty cool. And there was something else I was going to say that was a positive. Oh yeah, the ergonomics. So in the hand, again, this is a small knife. And as you can see, the blade is quite a bit smaller than the handle. But you do get, I can get a pretty solid grip on this knife. And it's not super ergonomic or comfortable, but for a knife this big, it definitely works. And so that's something I appreciate. And this makes a really good fifth pocket carry because it's on washers and not bearings. Your fifth pocket gets a lot of dirt and lint and stuff in there, and so it's good to have a little bit of extra resistance. I'm a big fan of that. Okay, what do I not like so much? I'll be honest. I used to carry this knife a lot, and then I stopped carrying it for a long time and kind of forgot about it until I decided I wanted to do this video, and then I dug it back out. And I honestly think I'm just kind of over the squid. It is a good fifth pocket carry, but I think there's stuff out there that's a little bit better. I wish the lock had an over travel stop. It doesn't, and this is a pretty, you can see there when I unlock it, I'm completely overspringing it. But, I mean, that hasn't presented a terrible problem yet. Next thing, even though you can get a flick out, I remember especially on some of the Teflon washer versions, you get something more like a little that. And so it does take some adjusting to get the action just right. This one has a little bit of lock stick, but not as bad as some of the other versions I've had. The other versions of the squid I had, just horrible lock stick. Yeah, do you hear that? It's not even like lock stick, it's more like lock crunchiness. I don't know, it's weird. It's really, really weird. I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, honestly, there's not a whole lot of negative here. As far as a fifth pocket carry goes, it's a small knife. What else do you want me to say? It's a small knife. It's good. And I want to give it the credit it deserves because it is a great design. I just personally, I'm over the squid, this one here. So let's move on to my final conclusions. And my final conclusions are that this is a good knife. It really is a good knife. As you could tell, there wasn't a whole lot for me to complain about, especially at the prices that you can get these at. I don't think you'll be disappointed. If you are interested in a squid, I'd recommend getting one of the Blade HQ exclusives because of the D2 steel. And, there's a bunch of different versions of them now. You'll find something you like. Oh, that's what I was going to say. CRKT does not mark their blades with the blade steel. That's a little bit weird, but it's a really good little fifth pocket carry. I mean, obviously a lot of people really love it. I used to be a big fan of this knife, and I think I've moved on just because there's more things out there, but for someone who's never experienced a squid before, it's an easy recommendation. All day, every day. I've been Gideon. I'll see you in the next one.